Hello and welcome to OrthoBanc's Industry Expert Series. We are very excited to have Dr. Dan Bills with us tonight. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping first. If anyone has any questions or comments, put them in the Q&A. We will be taking questions throughout the night and then asking them of Dr. Bills toward the end. We'll also be recording this and sharing it out with you later. So be sure to, as you have questions, make sure you put them in the Q&A box. OrthoBanc and Dr. Bills have been close for over 15 years because he became a customer when he started his practice 15 years ago. He's also well known for his popular in-office course, Innovative Orthodontic Solutions, which delves into some of the emerging technologies that are flooding our industry. Because of these two things, I thought he was a perfect candidate for our Industry Expert webinar series. And this is your chance for a sneak peek in his course content, which will help your practice successfully implement a paperless new patient process and enhance the patient, doctor, and staff experience. I'm going to let Dr. Bills just get started right away, and welcome. We are so excited to have you with us tonight, Dr. Bills.
Thank you, Marla. It's an honor to be here. So we will get this going. Well, first of all, thank you to OrthoBanc for having me. It's a pleasure. And as Marla said, this has been a 15-year, very happy marriage. We were a startup practice when we opened in 2007, and every single patient in our practice that did not do a pay in full has been on OrthoBanc from day one. So we obviously love them for a reason, and that's some of the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. But it's been an honor to get to do this with them, and happy to have everybody here. Let's get started. A little bit about me, Dan Bills. My email address is there, dan@iortho.com. There also is a website there, iortho.com/notes. And if you want to write that down or take a screenshot, if you go on there after the webinar, there's a drop-down menu. You can choose this lecture from the drop-down, and one of my team members probably next week will send you a handout with every slide that I have in there today. So we're happy to share. I love teaching. I love sharing. So you guys can just sit back, relax, learn a little bit, and know that you'll have every slide coming to you next week. And I'll show that again at the end. A little bit about me. I went to dental school at Harvard, did my orthodontic training at the University of Illinois. I'm a diplomat of the American Board of Orthodontics and a fellow of the American College of Dentists. My wife, Emily, is a pediatric dentist, and my daughter, Caroline, is 7, almost 8. And as all of you know, with families, this is what it's all about. This is family number 2, my wonderful team at Innovative Orthodontics. We've got 3 locations in the southern New Jersey suburbs of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is home to us, and if anybody's ever in the area, please come visit. I'm on faculty at the University of Pennsylvania in the Department of Orthodontics, and I've been privileged to get to teach at this point all over the world at most of our national meetings and regional meetings, and also doing some international stuff. This is with a large group of Polish orthodontists a couple years ago. So a big passion of mine is sharing what we're doing in our little corner with everybody. But one of the things that I've learned when you teach about systems, and a lot of my lecturing is about clinical systems, but I also do practice management and practice marketing systems. And it's the implementation strategies of those systems that are difficult for people to figure out without seeing them firsthand. So as Marla mentioned, we started an in-office course. We're now on our 8th go around with that. And we're pretty excited. And there's a website there, iorthosolutions.com, if you want to learn about any of this stuff in more detail. Quick disclosure, I do not. I'm friends with OrthoBanc. I love them, but I have no financial arrangements with them other than their sponsorship of this tonight, nor do I have any financial relationships with any of the other companies that I will mention in this lecture. So in my mind, that paperless new patient process, the way we think about it, starts before the patient even contacts our office. And it's all about choice, right? Why does the patient choose to have their orthodontic treatment done with us? And if you were lucky enough to practice during this time when that traditional orthodontic referral model, general dentist sends to an orthodontist equals happy patient, happy doctors. that is a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, it's something I never experienced opening, right in 2007, 2008, when we were going through a recession. And that model has only gotten a little more difficult as time has gone on. So a question that a lot of people ask, and what I ask myself, and what we challenge our team to ask, is why us? Why should somebody choose us for their orthodontic care? But what I started asking a few years ago, to kind of take that same question from a little different spin, is why would somebody choose another option that to us really doesn't make much sense, like a direct to consumer type option? Is it about money? It could be, but one of the things that, if you're really paying attention and you talk to patients who choose direct to consumer options, a lot of times, actually, in my opinion, most of the time, it has nothing to do with financial means. What it has to do with more is technology and the patient expectation that technology is a part of their treatment, that the treatment is going to be convenient. And what we found looking at this is that convenience is the commodity that matters most to this current generation. They want personalization with everything that they buy. And we don't have to look any farther than thinking about what we used to carry around with us, either in our backpacks or our purses. I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s. Maybe some of this stuff was in my baggy cargo shorts or something like that. But these were all things that were just part of our day-to-day existence. And now you guys know all of this is really just in our pocket, and we can leave our house now with nothing more than a smartphone. And to think that that doesn't carry over into all industries, including ours, I think means that we're really not paying attention. Look at how we shopped 5, 6, 7 years ago compared to what we do today. Even the grocery store, I'd be very honest, I have seen the inside of a lot of butcher shops and specialty stores, but I haven't been inside a large grocery store in many, many years, because of companies like Instacart. Movies, waiting in line to see that new release. Now we can do we can stream it, and we can even stream it on the exact same day that movie hits the theaters. So it's not something that is, things that aren't new releases. Can't tell you the last time I hailed a cab, waiting in line for food, working out. If those of you that are following in any of these orthodontic groups, we all love talking about our workout equipment, whether it's Peloton or Tonal or something similar. So basically, what we came to the conclusion of in our practice is that our patients expect convenience. They expect technology in all aspects of our practice, but especially in the new patient process, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's go into what I call the paperless new patient exam toolbox and see what tools we need to really be successful with this. So the first thing that I look at is two-way texting. So two-way text messaging. A few statistics: the average adult spends 23 hours a week texting. Based on what I see for most of my employees, it's significantly more than that. The average person exchanges 67 text messages every single day. 80% of consumers are using text messages for business. So this is not just what's going on in their personal lives. 64% of consumers think businesses should converse with them more using text messages. So they want us to talk to them that way. 70% of consumers appreciate getting texts from healthcare providers. So this is not just in the retail sector. And about 20% of consumers actually prefer a text message from a business compared to a phone call. So we have to ask these questions. Are text messages replacing email? And I think the answer to that is clearly yes. And why? On average, it takes 90 minutes for someone to respond to an email, while the average text message is responded to in only 90 seconds. Approximately 98% of all text messages are opened, as opposed to only 20% of emails. The next question we ask are text messages replacing phone calls and voicemail? It's clear that text messages now outrank phone calls as the dominant form of communication. Totally get that one. This one I love. Many millennials now see the phone as overly intrusive or even presumptuous. And what does that mean? People actually think that you're bothering them, or you're stepping outside of protocol when you call them these days. Why don't you just send me a text message? And there are many major companies in all industries, all walks of life, that have completely eliminated voicemail for their employees in favor of text messaging. So we asked the question, if our patients are not reading and responding to emails, and they're not leaving and listening to voicemails, how are we communicating with them? And in my mind, the simple answer is we're not. So benefits of two-way texting in the orthodontic office. Great way to keep phone lines free. And I missed this for a long time. We jumped on the two-way texting thing many, many years ago, pretty much as early as we could in the orthodontic space. But I looked at it like, is it a waste of time, or are my employees spending too much time communicating this way? What I didn't realize, and studies have now shown this, is if you're not going through the normal pleasantries, right? Somebody calls our office. We script our team members so well to answer the phone. Thank you for calling Innovative Orthodontics. This is Maria speaking. How can I help you? Oh, hi, Maria. This is Sally. I'm Johnny's mom. How are you guys doing? Great. Lovely weather we're having, yada, yada, yada. And by the time we get to the root question, which is really, Mrs. Jones just wants to move Johnny's appointment, we've now spent 4 to 5 minutes on the phone, as opposed to having that exact same conversation by text and saving that time. These are real conversations. This is the way people are communicating today. So anyone that believes that this is not personal, that people would rather talk to us on the phone, I think that is absolutely inaccurate. This is a very flexible way to set up appointments and remind patients about appointments. It's a great way to fill open appointment slots in real time. You get a bonding that cancels first thing in the morning you're trying to fill. You might have a hard time if somebody's at work, picking up their cell phone, but they will have no problem texting you back and hopefully filling that slot. And it also, obviously, for the purposes of our conversation tonight, it is an essential tool in the new patient process. So let's look a little bit at that specifically. So when a patient calls our office to schedule an exam, we gather all the normal information like everybody does, but then we tell them that when we get off the phone, or when we're about to get off the phone, as soon as we hang up, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to send you 2 text messages. The first one is a link to fill out your forms online, and the second is going to be a personal message from Dr. Bills welcoming you to our family. So let's look at each of those. So the new patient forms, we came up with a very user-friendly, there's a lot of different services that do this. Most practice management software does this. We developed this through Google Forms, through our website, because of search engine optimization, right? We wanted to send people back to our website to do as much as possible. So they click on this link, brings them to a page on our website. Very, very user-friendly information to fill out. Click on adult or child. Big fields for them to fill out with minimal questions. Obviously, we have information we have to gather, but less is more in this scenario. I think the days of 10-page, health history forms aren't what people want to do. We want quick and easy, or in gathering as much information as possible. So they fill that out. We've got, they submit it to us, and then we receive, because we still need a professional form, through email. We get this beautiful health history form. We're Dolphin users in our practice. I know there are a lot of Dolphin users on this call, OrthoBanc, big fans of Dolphin and vice versa. We just simply right click, save that to the Dolphin document organizer, the patient's chart, and no paper, nothing's printed. It's immediately saved in the digital record. Second, a personal message from Dr. Bills. And I tell people all the time, I firmly believe on standing on the shoulders of giants, and very few things that I'm telling you today are my own independent thoughts. Most of them are things that I've adapted, that I've seen at lectures. I'm a perpetual student, like anyone on this call is as well. But this is something that I'm fairly certain, and nobody's called me out on this in years of doing this, that I was the first one to do. And this is probably 6-7 years ago. We made a 1-minute video that we text to every new patient, really as a way for them to get to know me, get to know our office before even walking in our doors. So let's take a look at that.
We understand that you have a lot of options when it comes to choosing an orthodontist for you or your child, and we're honored that you're spending your time with us in the office. On behalf of myself and the team at Innovative Orthodontics, I look forward to giving you more reasons to smile for years to come. We take a lot of pride in what we do here, and we know that we treat every patient that walks through our doors as if they're family. And we look forward to passing along that same level of customer service to you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me or any of my dedicated team members with any questions or concerns that you have. We're all in this together. We understand that orthodontics is something that our patients want to invest in themselves or invest in their children. We want to make sure that we honor your decision to come here with a level of customer service that you've never experienced before and treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. And I look forward to exceeding your expectations and helping you achieve your goals.
So again, every new patient already knows a little bit about us. They know a little bit about our office, a little bit about our culture. They see that the office is neat and clean, that we're not scary. Hopefully that doesn't come across as us being scary, but that's been highly effective from a marketing perspective. We also are big on educating in our practice. So for just about every patient education topic, we've got a link that we can text the patients so that it brings them to that respective blog. Also through the website, increasing search engine optimization we can get that linked to specific appointment types as well. So when a patient gets their braces on and they're checked out of that bond appointment, they're automatically texted instructions on how to take care of the braces. So that's been something pretty cool that we've set up. Text to pay, especially in a paperless process and in a virtual world, the ability to text people in order to have them pay their bills directly has been phenomenal. And also one of the features that I love, and for all of our two-way texting, and OrthoBanc was awesome in allowing me to talk about some of the other great partners that we work with, and I appreciate that. They're very big team players in the industry. We work with Weave for all of our two-way texting and voice over IP and integration with practice management software. But what studies have shown, and this is industry-wide and nationwide, 70% of people will call an office, and if they get the voicemail, they will hang up, right? So for us, that's a scary trend. And we like to think that no call ever goes unanswered. And we track that, and we're pretty good at it. But every once in a while, if we get a bunch of calls coming in at one time, our call center gets a little overpowered and somebody might go to voicemail. And 75% of those patients will never leave a message. So what Weave has developed that I love is what we call missed call text messages. So when somebody calls the office and it goes to voicemail, they will automatically, immediately, while they're leaving the message or right after they hang up, they'll get sent this text message. So thank you for calling Innovative Orthodontics. The office is open, but we are helping another patient at the moment. We will call you back within 3 to 5 minutes. You can also text us here if you prefer, speak with you shortly. So we've now started that two-way text with them, which most people, as we've already established, prefer to communicate that way. Also in that toolbox, and this is huge, and what's funny, when I talk about teleconferencing and screen sharing, when I first started doing this, I actually was lecturing to people about how to use Zoom. And now, I mean, you think about a post-COVID world, and this was only 3 to 5 years ago. Nobody knew about screen sharing. And it's something that now, everybody knows how to do. But how are we using that? A treatment conference for a parent not present at the initial consult. So we actually try to nip that in the bud when we're getting our information and we are talking to a new patient phone call. If we ask them who's coming to the visit and they say, I'm going to be there, dad says I'm going to be there, mom's at work, we ask them, would you want to do a video screen share at the time of that consult for the parent that can't be there? We are a one-step consultation in our office. So if somebody does need a second conference, we almost always try to do that via teleconferencing to be as efficient as possible. Review of aligner, digitally guided bonding setups if a patient wants it. So if we need that to close the case, we can do that via teleconferencing. Case discussions with referring doctors, I love, avoiding games of phone tag. And then for virtual visits, that's a necessary tool. Lots of options out there. Everybody knows what their favorite is by now. It's really personal preference. But Doing real time, so synchronous teleconferencing, still requires schedule coordination and phone tag. And for me, as a systems guy, I think about everything we do in the office and what do I hate the most and what can I do to eliminate it. High up on that list, very high up, is playing phone tag with either referring doctors or patients. So we've completely eliminated that. So now if I need to talk to a doctor about a case, let's say, or a patient that has some follow-up questions, we do asynchronous teleconferencing with screen recording software. I use a product called Soapbox from a company called Wistia. Some of you are probably more familiar with Loom or Camtasia. All work very similarly. What I love about Soapbox, it is a Google Chrome plugin. So if you look here at the top of the screen, you'll see that blue camera. That means on any web browser, any Google Chrome web browser, on any machine with a camera and a microphone, you can very easily, with a touch of a button, record your screen, record yourself, and then easily edit it where you could see the screen, you could see my face, or you could see the screen and my face. And it takes all of about 5 seconds to edit that. So this is just an example of one of those that I'll show you briefly.
Hi, it's Dan Bills. I just wanted to give you a call as we discussed and run through the two different scenarios about how we could handle that spacing.
So this is a patient that wanted to go through a couple different treatment options. And it's amazing how much, at first I thought maybe my referring dentist wouldn't like it. They want to talk to me. They don't. Probably 95% of the time when I send that out to a referring dentist reviewing a case, all I hear back, the first thing is sounds good. The second is, man, that's such cool technology. I wish more people would use it. So, something I highly recommend, and I think both your referral base and your patients would really appreciate that. If it's a patient that has questions, a follow-up to the consult, I will record a Soapbox video as well, send it to my TC and let them send it directly to the patient. Very rarely is there any additional follow-up needed for me. And it doesn't take me any more time to do that than it does to actually record, say the words and flip through the photos. So very, very easy, and I highly recommend that. Let's talk a little bit, if we're talking about that new patient process, how are we educating patients in the consult room? Because that's an enormous part of what we do. We all build these fancy consult rooms with these giant screen monitors. But when I first started doing this, we were still using typodonts, and that's not to say there's anything wrong with typodonts. But if we've got these big screens, let's go ahead and use them. So as a Dolphin user, we are big fans of Aquarium. We've got custom playlists. If you're not familiar with it, and I know there are other great products out there, you can customize it just for the appliances that you use. And for just about every type of malocclusion and every possible treatment plan, we've got an Aquarium playlist. We don't use it all the time because obviously our goal in our office, what we've set up, we want to be the doctor in the consult room for 7 minutes or less. So I don't want to get lost in the weeds with this, but there are certain things, expansion being one of the big ones like you're watching now, very beneficial to show people the benefits of that. Also, what I realized when I first started practice is we've got Dolphin imaging. I would either sit down and click through photos, or my TC would, I'd have to direct her what to click through if I wanted to expand something. Now with the advent of large format touchscreen monitors, we've got those mounted on the wall in every one of our offices. So if I don't sit, I am less likely to be in there for more than the desired period of time. So that's been awesome. I don't do this, but I show this in case I've had some people say, yeah, but I love drawing on the photos that we print out. You can draw all over these large format screens. It's basically a big whiteboard. And you can even print that if you wanted to send the patient your lovely drawings. So the annotation features are wonderful with those as well. Next on our list in our toolbox is trusted financial partners. We are all about outsourcing in all areas of our practice whenever possible. We firmly believe in finding the industry leader, the best partners to work with on everything we do, whether it's our labs, whether it's the the type of braces we use or the clear aligner lab that we use. And it's no different in our new patient process with our financial partners. And that really is how I found OrthoBanc. And as Marla mentioned, we use them from day one because even when we were a small practice, I was a startup, we had no patients. And then like for the first week, we had one patient and then two patients. And as we grew into a pretty large and knock on wood, a successful practice, we are glad that we set those systems up from the start because we knew that we were going to grow and we wanted to outsource and get some efficiencies through phenomenal companies. And in my opinion, and again, they are not paying me anything to say this, OrthoBanc is the best in the business in this field. So let's look at why. So if you're insourcing, right, if you have everything financially being done in-house, you're front loading your operations costs. So essentially, we've got to pay a lot of money up front in the hopes that we're going to get a bunch of new patients in order to make those systems work. However, by outsourcing with OrthoBanc in this instance, we're only paying for what we need, which is a tremendous cost savings, especially as you're growing your practice. They're also, and I am a firm believer in understanding opportunity costs. Those are two words that I'm always thinking about as a systems guy. How much are we giving up from being distracted without thinking about things that are not about production-based things, such as ACH and the sorts of things that OrthoBanc helps us with. We're reducing headaches. We're not as worried about staff turnover. I'm not thinking, well, what if Susie, who does all of my in-house ACH, leaves us? Who else is cross-trained? We never have to worry about that because we've had a trusted partner for years and years. I've gotten questions a lot when I talk about OrthoBanc at our in-office course. I've already got a great financial coordinator. I don't really need this. And this is where I go to the numbers, and all of this is verifiable. Where if you have an in-house financial coordinator, the national average is 3.5% of patient AR is delinquent. And that's a national average that's easy to track. That same financial coordinator with OrthoBanc, that number changes dramatically. So in OrthoBanc's numbers, they are at 0.5%. All we could pull from our software, because I wanted to verify this to make sure I'm giving you real information, just says, it's under 1%. So it really is accurate and works extremely well. So we use it for all of our ACH. There's the responsible party portal, great customer care for those of us that believe in verifying. We're all checking our own online reviews. Check the online reviews for the companies you work with. OrthoBanc has a stellar reputation both in and out of the community as well. Oh, and back to that slide real quick. They also they work with just about every, I mentioned Dolphin before, but I wanted everybody to see the list. This is not, I can only speak from my own personal experience, but they integrate with TOPS, they integrate with Ortho2, with Edge, with Cloud9, and with others as well. So just about any of the major practice management softwares integrate directly with OrthoBanc. I also think it's important to know who's on the other end of the phone if your patients call and they do have a problem with something on their OrthoBanc. We set them up from the beginning. However, if they have a problem, OrthoBanc does a remarkable job. I don't think I've ever gotten a complaint from a patient about the customer service experience if they needed to change a credit card or if a payment was declined or anything. OrthoBanc is phenomenal with that. So I don't think this is something where you want to choose somebody that's not tested and not verified and not vetted and doesn't have the reputation like somebody like OrthoBanc does. So another, and obviously a really big piece, and I get questions about this one all the time, paperless document signing, right? So we go through all the case presentation. I'm going to show you kind of a summary slide of the layout of how we do our new patient exam in a minute. But how do we sign those documents at the end? And like many of you, I am in all of the Facebook groups, and this is a question that comes up all the time. There are phenomenal companies, everything from DocuSign, Adobe Sign, OrthoDocs Pro, PandaDoc. I'm anxiously awaiting the AcceptX Pro update that comes out in Q4 of this year, which I think is where we're headed in this to do this. And that's a phenomenal product also from OrthoBanc. I did want to share with you what we've been doing from the start. Again, being an early adopter to this stuff before a lot of these awesome options have come out, we kind of do what I call the poor man's version of this, which is a custom Word document on a touchscreen tablet. So what you're seeing here, Dolphin generates one giant Word document for us that we've formatted with our AAO informed consent, with our office guidelines and policies for a patient to read over and sign, and then with our contract that we go over with them, again, generated directly from Dolphin. Patient can sign that, and we can immediately upload that into the patient's Dolphin chart. So that's worked great for us. I'm looking for something a little more robust, and that's why that AcceptX Pro update that's coming out soon, I think is going to be amazing, and probably where our practice is headed. So let's summarize a little bit about how that, how we implement and wrap all this up for our new patient process. Couple fundamentals that don't change. Don't ever forget, we're talking about technology and paperless and convenience, but the big thing is never to forget the small stuff as the world becomes more technical. So we try to schedule the exam as soon as possible, certainly no more than 2 weeks from the call. If I can get them in within a day or two, that's always our goal. We want to make sure we're starting that appointment on time. Never, ever, ever let a new patient wait. We try to bring them back early because that's our opportunity to show them how much we value their time. We've got a very well scripted yet extremely personal experience. Again, not enough time to go through that in an hour-long webinar, but that's critically important. And then effective use of texting, touchscreens, tablets, practice management software to be truly paperless. So how we do it, we do hour-long consults in our practice. I know everybody, this is a very personal thing. I'm not telling you, I'm not one to tell you that this is the only way to do it. I just like sharing what we do. So for the first 10 minutes, we welcome the patient to the office on time. Our treatment coordinator gives them a tour, takes photos in a pan. The patient and family are in the consult room watching a new patient video. So what we are big on video, making sure that we're engaging. We've got these giant screens in our reception areas. Let's use them. So we timed how long it takes our treatment coordinator to input the photos into Dolphin and to do a quick debrief with our doctor at a perch in the back about what the patient's concerns are, what their buying motivations are they ready to start today? Do they have any big questions that we want to know about ahead of time? And then the TC and I enter the consult room together. We spend, and here it says 10 minutes. We try to spend no more than 7 minutes. That is our goal. Going through the photos, going through the diagnosis, the treatment plan, using the touch screen if we need to go through welcome videos in Aquarium. And then we leave and pass everything along to the treatment coordinator. Little pearl here, again, not exactly on the paperless front, but make sure that transfer of power is done. And what I mean by that is I always say before I leave, I'm going to turn things over to Hermine. She is my expert on all things braces or aligners. She's going to take it from here and make sure you get all your questions answered. Thank you so much for coming in today. I can't wait to take amazing care of little Johnny. I shake hands, or at least I used to pre-COVID. I'm looking for that to come back. We're in the Northeast, so we're not quite there yet. And then I leave. One thing I never utter is a famous phrase that a lot of us love to use. Do you have any questions? I never say that because I want to let the TC do her job, and I want to get out of the room to get back out and see some patients. So is our new patient exam truly paperless? And the answer to that, I like full disclosure, is no. What we have discovered is that we want to give patients something to take home in case one parent isn't there, or in case they're getting multiple consults. We toyed with the idea of giving them a jump drive of some kind with their photos on it. I did want to give them something tangible if they wanted it. So we came up, the only paper involved is a new patient booklet that we had custom done, really just letting them know who we are, what we're all about. This is all artwork that is in our office, letting them know a little bit about me, letting them know some of the things that we think make us unique. And then at the end, we do have a folder where if they do want anything printed, they want that contract printed, they want their photos printed, we try to email it, we try to save trees wherever we can. Some people want something printed, we nicely fold it, put it in their booklet and send them along their way. And then we've got a little slot for business cards. We try to differentiate ourselves there. Everybody else's business cards are rectangular. Mine are going to be square. They might look plain on one side, but the back sides are colorful and full of all those differentiators of why we think patients should choose us for the orthodontic care. Okay, and then we're going to end. So we've got about 10 minutes left, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. I think a lecture on a paperless new patient process or a tech savvy new patient process that does not talk about virtual in 2022 would be a complete failure on my part. Many of you have heard me lecture on this topic before. I've been honored to lecture on it at the last few AAOs. And I want to walk you through a little bit about how I stumbled upon this. For us, it really was a marketing tool in the beginning, simply something to grab patients before they chose direct-to-consumer options, because we felt that people wanted those convenient, personal, tech-savvy options, and then we wanted to give that to them so they didn't end up on a DTC website. Some people really just want to find out, are they a candidate for orthodontics before they take, especially in today's world, 15 to 20 minutes to drive to our office, an hour in our consultation room, and then another 15 minutes or so to drive home. Some people really just want to go online, figure out, hey, am I a candidate for braces? Am I a candidate for clear aligners? Do you have flexible payment options? So we jumped on board with this pretty early in order to be able to answer those questions for patients. I think it's important to differentiate, and these terms, it's funny. When I first started doing this, I had no idea what synchronous meant or asynchronous meant. Now my 7-year-old, uses these words as part of her vocabulary because of everything they've been through with virtual school. There are such things as synchronous new patient exams, synchronous virtual new patient exams. Dr. Kyle Fagula, great friend of mine, amazing orthodontist, during COVID, put together kind of some guidelines on a synchronous process. I've seen Leanne Panici give some amazing lectures on this, where people have, a great camera, webcam. They've got ring lights. They schedule actual appointments for the doctor to be live with the patient. For me, I tried that and did a little bit of it during COVID and realized that, that was not a good use of my time, in my opinion. Again, just one orthodontist view. And I found that our patients really wanted to do some of this stuff when it was convenient for them. So in our office, we only do asynchronous virtual consults. So the way that we do this, there are lots of different companies out there that have made some really good apps. I think it's important, just like choosing the right financial partner like OrthoBanc, that you're choosing an app that meets some certain criteria. The first is quality, the appearance, ease of use. If it's clunky or it looks cheap, patients aren't going to trust it, or they're not going to enjoy the experience and they'll stop. They don't want to feel like they're sending their information. Remember, these are pictures of either themselves or their child. I've seen people try to do this through regular text messaging. I've seen people try to do it through Facebook Messenger. For me, I wanted it to feel safe and secure and actually be safe and secure. And most importantly for me, being a rule follower, HIPAA compliant. I wanted it to feel customized. I wanted, we've worked really hard on our brand, and anyone that's ever seen our marketing materials knows somebody can see that it's our brand without even reading what's on the ad. And we take a lot of pride in that. So we wanted to make sure that any asynchronous virtual visit app that we use could be customized and match our brand. And then on our end, any system that requires me to spend more than a couple minutes outside of normal patient time making it work to me is a royal waste of my time. So I needed it to be incredibly efficient on the doctor side. And we're going to spend a few minutes running you through that. So for us in our office, step one, the patient fills out an online request. We've got widgets that are embedded all over our website where a patient simply fills in their phone number and hits send. We also have the ability to push that to them without sending them to the website through text messaging. If, for example, and this happens more and more now post-COVID, we get that patient that is so particular about their appointment day or their appointment time, or that they want to be seen tomorrow because it's vital to their very existence that they get in to see you tomorrow. We now have the ability with this exact same system to say, you know what? I understand this is incredibly important to you. You want to get in as soon as humanly possible. Why don't I do this? I'm going to send you a link that you can click on, and you can start this process virtually even tonight. And one of our doctors will review that and get back to you within 24 hours. How does that sound? And when you get that patient, we've kind of already pre-screened them that they didn't like our traditional options of having to wait a day or two and do it at a normal time. And that's worked great for us to kind of, get that patient to happy at the end of that phone call. Step two, what does it look like on the patient side? So they get sent a text messaging. Again, we work with the app from a company called Clear Partnering Group. Absolutely love them. Patient then clicks, fills out some very basic information. Is this consult for you or for your child? Why do you want to do this? Briefly describe your teeth in nice visuals so they don't have to think too much. Do you want clear aligners or braces? We're just gathering some basic information to start the discussion. A little box for them to fill out what it is that, if there's something in particular that they want us to know. And then this is the cool part. Let's see your smile. Now they're doing this on their smartphone. The camera quality on smartphones today is ridiculous. It is so good. I know colleagues that are using smartphones for their clinical photography in the office. So now the patient, with the push of a button in the app, can take pictures with prompts from us about what views we want to see. So we want, all the basic intraoral shots that we would normally want. They then, because it's HIPAA compliant, they consent to send this to us, and then the photos are uploaded. Again, looks like our practice, branded like our practice, makes the patient feel safe and secure. And then what happens next? One of our doctors is going to get back to you shortly with a detailed report. So that patient's needs were satisfied immediately. Doctor facing, again, this is the Clear Partnering Group app from the doctor's side. We can review those photos, and this is an actual patient. Photos are actually decent quality. Some of them, not all of them are that great, but this is the part that I love. And with the click of a button, we have developed all of these presets where we just click and fill out basic information: crowding, overbite, is there spacing, with basic information. These patients just want to know, as I mentioned before, are they a candidate? Are they a candidate for Invisalign? Are they a candidate for braces? And then you'll see this really beautiful report that is drafted that looks professional, that comes directly from the doctor, and really makes the patient feel like they interacted with our office. So patient receives that report, can view it on their own time. We track this. Most of the time they're opened almost immediately. So again, looks great and makes them feel like they're getting phenomenal information from our office. We then want to be able to start the discussion about financing. And this is a personal thing. Not everybody believes that you should do this. There are people that I know that never, ever, ever quote any cost on the phone. Now, we don't know what this patient's treatment is going to be, but we know that we can do this as long as they're a candidate and make it as affordable as possible. So our office offers 0% financing. So we want patients to know that. And then I love this verbiage that orthodontics in our office usually cost between $150 and $200 a month. The cost of braces or clear aligners can range anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000, all depending on the complexity of the required treatment. Regardless of the price, we will set up an affordable, no interest payment plan that works with any budget. What they really want to know is the last line. In most cases, we can get monthly payments between $150 and $200 a month. So we let them know right off the bat, we don't know exactly what your fee is going to be, but we know that we're going to make it affordable. So step 5, the TC schedules consultation part 2. And then I get this question a lot. Are we not doing a full exam? Of course, we're doing a full exam, right? We are telling the patients, and I crafted this verbiage myself, feel free to borrow it. I'm reaching out to you via text message as you requested. The second step in your consultation process will be to visit us in the office for some additional orthodontic records that could not be done at home, including digital x-rays and digital tooth impressions. That's the key, that could not be done at home. One of my millennial TCs said to me, if we do this and the patient takes all their pictures and we bring them in and we run them through the exact same process as the rest of our new patients, they're going to be mad. So we needed to tell them, hey, I'd love to do this whole thing virtually, but we can't take digital x-rays and digital scans at home. So you got to come in. Let's bring you in for the second part of the consult. And of course, we all know in the orthodontic world, that's where we're doing our true diagnosis, our true treatment plan, and our true case presentation. So the patient comes in, we do this as a TC only consult. We've worked with Leanne Panici on our new patient processes for years. Leanne's a big advocate of TC only consults. We were trying to find a way to determine which patients are gonna like a TC only consult. In my mind, any patient that is willing to take photos of themselves or their child in their house and send them to an orthodontic office probably doesn't need to see the doctor at that consult. So that's a great screening tool for us to know which one is good for a TC only consult. I get questions a lot, only millennials and tire kickers are going to utilize this. And now the nice thing, everything's trackable. We've got real data to suggest otherwise. 92% of people in our office who've submitted a virtual consult have viewed the report and therefore have gotten exposed to our practice, our doctors, and our brand. So that's marketing 101, and 92%. I love that. 60% of people have requested to come in the office for a second stage. So we lose 40% right off the top. People, those are the tire kickers, right? Or they didn't like what I had to say, which is totally fine too. Or they were just goofing around on a Saturday night and found our website and took some pictures. That happens as well. But this is the stat that I love. Our conversion rate for those 60% of patients who come in for the second stage is comparable to our traditional patients. So that 76% is where we are currently. And that's awesome. And this isn't a ton in our practice, and we're a decent sized practice. Our new patient exams that are done virtually last month were 21. So, it's not an overwhelming amount, but it's enough where even if I grab 1 or 2 of those patients before they choose a direct to consumer option, it is totally worth it. So in my mind, virtual consultations do not replace the doctor. They just make it easier for patients to get the information they want in a way that is incredibly easy for the doctor and the team to provide. So what appointments are we currently doing virtually besides consults? And this is what's fun. This is an evolution. We started with this as a marketing tool and we were just doing consults. What we learned during COVID was patients love this. They want anything that most patients, not all of them, many patients want as much convenience as possible in their world and saving trips to our office. So currently, we are doing this for every other observation visit. So we like to see patients, or historically, we've seen patients every 6 months for observation. Being married to a pediatric dentist, our observation program is incredibly robust. And having to see, I think we've got 1,500 or 1,600 patients in active obs, seeing those patients every 6 months, talk about bogging down your schedule. Now what we do is we bring those patients in once a year when they're ready for a progress pan, but we also see them in that interim 6-month period virtually. And we've got an entire protocol that I love teaching. You can see it at the in-office course if you choose to come, on how we do that. It's pretty sweet. Every retainer check. So I don't do any in-office retainer check unless there's a problem that I'm looking for, unless I've got second molars that aren't fully erupted that I need to check. every one of our retainer checks is done virtually. So we're debonding, I think, about 1,100 or 1,200 patients each year. That's 1,100 or 1,200 appointments. If you're only doing one retainer check, which is what we used to do. If you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 retainer checks, give me a call, shoot me a message. We'll talk a little bit about efficiency and appointments that can be saved there. And then obviously aligner checks for patients that are away at school and such. But if you want to learn more about what we're doing virtually, you can check me out at the AAO. I'll be lecturing, I believe, on Sunday morning. Would love to see you guys there. I know OrthoBanc is a sponsor at the meeting as well, so check those guys out as well. And then, as I mentioned, the website for the in-office course is orthosolutions.com. Would love to have you out and show you everything I talked about tonight in excruciating detail, and also have a lot of fun and learn actually a lot of clinical systems and things that were outside of the scope of this lecture. We go into detail with all of it in an in-office setting. So with that, I will turn everything over to Marla and her team and make myself available to any questions that you guys have.
This has been so helpful and I've enjoyed it, and it makes me want to go get braces again, actually. Really fascinating. So we do have some questions and we'll just kind of walk down through some of these. First of all, we would all love to know where you get your large format touchscreen TVs.
Yeah, so what we're using currently is from a company called ELO, E-L-O, I believe it's ELO.com. I find them the most cost-effective option available, especially if you're planning that consultation room from the start. So my newest location that we built, that's what we used. I also love a company called Tabler. It's tablertv.com, that depending on what TV you already have hanging in your consultation room, they may make a screen that fits it, where with the USB connection, you can actually turn your existing large TV into a touchscreen. So in my first office, that's what we had used. Great question.
Let's talk about the two-way texting a little bit. And I believe you mentioned this, but a question again about what company you're using for the two-way texting and why you chose them.
Yeah, so we use Weave for all of our patient communication tools. We like to use industry leaders. I don't think there's anybody, and again, maybe I'm biased, I'm not a consultant for them. They are just phenomenal with their handle on all things communication. So for example, I love Dolphin. Dolphin has two-way texting available through their practice management, but I want something that integrates with everything we do. So Weave is our voice over IP phones. It integrates directly with practice management for what I call caller ID on steroids, where I can see everything about the patient. We use it for our review portal, so we can very easily text patients links to give us feedback or online reviews. So that's been our two-way texting option for years, and I love those guys and girls.
And I think you kind of touched on this, but any specific suggestions on how to keep that more personal and less professional?
Keep texting more personal and professional? Is that, yeah. I think I want to make sure. Go ahead, ask that question again. It was.
Okay, so it's seeming like, do you worry that the patients think that two-way texting is less personal or less professional?
Or less professional. Got it. Yeah. No, not at all. Now, if I had a time machine and you were to ask me that same question 5 years ago, I would have told you absolutely. But anyone in this world that's paying attention to trends knows that everybody, regardless of age at this point, besides maybe my father, who might be the last known person that doesn't text, that's how they're used to communicating. And it's not just in personal use. It's not just retail. I get texts from my doctor's office all the time. If I get blood work done, I get a text where I can view the results. I get appointment reminders from everybody. I just think it's the way people are talking, and it's just a part of their day-to-day communication style.
So there is one question from Christina also. For patients that send you photos, do you then take the photos at the end of the consult? So I know you mentioned that you do some others, but do you retake the original?
Yes, that is a great question. So yes, we do. And we also, trust me, there's no way those photos are of diagnostic quality for me. I can see enough to know, are you a candidate and can I treat you? And that's really all I want to know. We tell them, we don't write in our, the text response that we're going to retake photos, but they come in and no matter, my TCs don't even know what those photos look like. They say, it was so great. You did such a good job with that photography. What I'm going to do while I got you here is just retake a few photos so we can upload that directly to our practice management software. So, again, we don't tell them we're going to redo it, but we've gotten good at kind of scripting them where we complement what they've already done, but we wanted to do it so we could put it into their permanent record.
Kind of going back to the text to pay, they're asking to the texting, two-way texting. They're asking if you use text to pay via Weave. So
I do, but this is also a great, and Marla, I might turn that over to you for a second, because this is all part of AcceptX that, I may change that when we switch over in Q4. That's a service that you guys can do as well, correct?
Yes, OrthoBanc does have a product called Breeze that does have single payment links that you can use for text to pay. And then of course you're using Weave for that text to pay. So there are various options that you can use for that. And we would be happy to speak to you about the Breeze option if you're on this and would like to learn more about that as well.
Perfect.
So someone is asking about the Chrome extension that allows you to record a video. So if you'll kind of touch on that again.
Yes, so we use it's called Soapbox. It's from a company called Wistia, WISTIA. Just a phenomenal way on any laptop, and every laptop today has a built-in camera, built-in microphone. You don't even need any external hardware at all. You just go to Chrome, you click the button, and immediately it gives you like a 5-second countdown so you're not caught off guard. But it records everything on your screen. It records you. And then what I do, I don't want people looking at me the whole time, because those of you, hopefully you've been watching my slides and not me, but we all make, funny faces when we talk. And so I allow people to see me in the beginning. And it really is just the click of a button, like little icons. Like at this point in the video, they're going to see a face. For most of the video, they just see the screen. And then at the very end, I just show them the screen and my face so they know that it's still me. And that's it. It's click, click, click. There's a share button, and I just text it directly from my desktop.
We do have 2 more questions. I know we're out of time, but hopefully you can stick on for a couple more minutes. And this
Absolutely.
OrthoBanc, we have an in-house financial coordinator that I think might be offended if we suggested bringing in OrthoBanc. Any idea, any advice on this, and how to kind of frame that?
Yeah, I would just show them, and everybody thinks that they're going to be, they're going to be weeded out as you get more efficient. I think the key to that is just showing them, one, hopefully the plan is not to downsize them. If you are, that's a whole nother question. But if you plan on keeping them, I think it's showing them the power in those tools and how it's going to make their day-to-day even easier and give them the opportunity to do other things, to make the practice better. So it's more of an empowerment thing. It's all about how you frame it. It's like anything in life. Everybody thinks that technology is going to take their job. It's a matter of framing it that no, technology is going to make your life better and make you work, more efficiently and less stress, and allow you to focus on other things.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the things we always say. That's oftentimes your most valuable employee, the person who's doing that. There's so many other things that they could be doing to provide value for the practice. So a lot of times just freeing up some of those tasks will just help you to run a better practice with that key team member. Yeah. There's one last question, and this is an interesting one. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have even read this out on the webinar, but have you thought of going for billing? So I think I'm just going to throw an answer out here for that one. For any of you who are considering either OrthoBanc or OrthoFi, we did become stronger together about 1.5 years ago. And so we are now one company with a portfolio of solutions. So you can take a look at all of them kind of in one demo. So if anyone's interested in seeing OrthoFi or OrthoBanc, any of those. We're happy to show you all of our solutions. And if you want to reach out specifically to Dr. Bills to hear, why he chose OrthoBanc over OrthoFi, I'm sure he'd love to hear from you regarding that too. I don't want to put you on the spot on that one, Dr. Bills, unless you just want to say anything here.
No, I'm fascinated with, with OrthoFi. It's a remarkable company. It's a remarkable product. For us, we've gotten very good over the years of keeping those things in-house. And similar to that question about not offending people, it's not necessarily about offending. I like everything being done under my roof. And maybe it's a control thing. Maybe it's streamlining our processes where people can put a name to a face and who they're talking to about account questions. For us, our overhead was where we needed it to be. So it just made sense. But what I love, and I think this is important, I was a little nervous as a loyal OrthoBanc user when that merger did happen. Was it going to change OrthoBanc? And if anything, I think it's just made it better and made, there's more resources available, and but the core values and the core product stayed the same, just improved. There was never a push to change or to move over to OrthoFi.
We love that. And that is why we feel that we are stronger together, because practices can choose what works for them. For what you just said, there are just as many practices that are looking to outsource that insurance piece. And there's tremendous value in getting to use OrthoBanc for the OrthoFi for the insurance outsourcing as well as the growth. So there's something for every practice. So we do hope you'll reach out to us. Dr. Bills, it's been fabulous to spend an hour with you tonight, and look forward to seeing you at the AAO. I know that anyone who's here would love to come and hear more at your session there at the AAO, or also to visit your in-office course. So if you need more information about that, you can reach out to OrthoBanc, OrthoFi, and we appreciate you so much, Dr. Bills.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was awesome.
Good night, everybody.